Hello everyone, I am Yogesh, and today in this episode we shall be continuing our discussion from the various properties that we encounter whenever a body is in motion. If you remember, in our previous episodes I gave you a riddle to solve. That is, suppose if an athlete is running really very hard on a straight track, and then with the same speed and with the same stamina, if he is given to run on a circular track, he will feel really more tired than the previous one. So today in this episode we shall be solving this riddle, and also we shall be coming to know about what are the various forces that comes into existence whenever we want to study the mechanics of particles. Well, let us put some more emphasis over the riddle that I gave to you. We have got two tracks, right? One is a straight track and one is the circular one. Now if you are required to run over a straight track, what will you be doing? You will be simply going for running, and after some time, if you want, you can stop. And if you go for the circular one, you have to follow a circular track. Well, that sounds to be really very easy, but just ask an athlete who is running in some 100-meter race or who is running in a circular track. Actually what happens is that from our previous discussions we all know that a body is in motion only because the force that we are applying over that body is just cancelling the friction there. So even if I am running, then that simply means that I am applying some force. I am pushing the earth and I am moving forward, cancelling the force of friction. But that force of friction behaves in different ways whenever I am going for a circular track or when I am going for a straight track. For example, if I start running on a straight track, what will happen is that I will have to cancel the force of friction at every point of time. But when I am about to take a turn in a circular track, I have to encounter two things. Well, the first thing is I have to encounter the frictional force. That is quite obvious. But there is second important thing there. Suppose if I am following the circular track, then my body will have a tendency to go out of the circular track. And so in order to be in the circular track, I have to apply some more force so that I could turn my body in accordance with the circular track that I have got. Actually this riddle will give us the introduction of the two very important forces that we have in our day-to-day life. The first one is the force of friction. What happens in the force of friction is that whenever a body is there as a static body, or whenever a body is not in motion, we all say that there is a friction acting over that body, and that's why the body is not moving. Well, I'm really very sorry to tell you that this is a very famous misconception among a lot of people. As you know that what we studied in the Galileo's interpretation was that the state of rest and the state of uniform motion is one and the same. So following that, the state of rest of a body, say suppose a book is lying on a table, is same as the book moving with uniform motion, because either the acceleration is zero or the force of friction is negligible there or is not in action. So in order to understand what is really a friction, we must go by the following example. Well, suppose I have got a box, and if I put that box over say a table, so at that point of time the box is not moving at all. Now if I start applying some force, that is very feeble force, so what I will see is that the box is not coming into motion. Well, that may be because the frictional force that is between the box, that is the bottom of the box, and the ground or the table of the surface, the friction between them is really much larger than the force that I am imparting over it. And so there is a very peculiar concept there, that is the impending motion. Actually, impending motion is something like if I am trying to move a box actually the box is not moving, but it is trying to move. It is something like a sort of a virtual motion. I am pushing a box, the box is just about to move, but it is not changing its coordinates, or it is not moving at all. Here at this point, when the force that I am applying is really much less or is a bit feeble than the frictional force, the type of friction that is coming into existence is known as the static friction. The static friction is the friction which I can see whenever I am just about to move something kept over a surface, but it is not moving at all. Now once I apply force greater than the frictional force or the static friction at that point, the box will start to move. But on the course of its movement, the box will be experiencing some frictional force from the surface, and that frictional force is known as the kinetic friction. So in short, what we can summarize is that we have got two forces, that is from the category called the friction. One of them is the static friction and the other one is the kinetic friction. The static friction is always there whenever I'm just about to move the box, but it is not actually moving. And whenever the box starts moving and it is on the course of its motion, the kinetic friction will comes into existence. Well, there are always some constants of friction. Like for static friction we have got a constant, and the kinetic friction we have got some other constants. We are not going to exactly deal with them because we are only here to discuss the qualitative aspect of them, which will help us to go deeper into the concepts. Now we will move on to the example of the athlete who was running on a circular track. As what he told me was that he was having an urge to go out of that circular track. Well, actually it is a very common experience whenever a body is moving in a circular track or is having some circular motion. If you have played some games in your childhood, like tying a stone with a thread and then you are moving it like this. So if by chance you are not able to hold that string, what you will see that once the string is out of your reach, it will straightway go out of the circular orbit that you have created by moving it in this way. This is a very common experience that every object is having whenever it is going in a circular motion. But there is also the second thing of it. When the athlete is going in a circular track, he will be going outside the track, because it is a normal momentum of a body to go out of the track. And then in order to be in that circular track, he will have to encounter the first thing, the frictional force, and then he will also have to apply some more force to be in that circle. Now this is a very good thing. We got our clue and hence the riddle is solved. But here is a catch. What if I do some deviation of the track, or if I bang the track, that is if I have got a track and I just make the turns a bit up than the original track. So what will happen is that whenever the athlete is moving or whenever he is running, he will now experience a force going towards the center of the track. Why is it happening and what is it? This we will discuss now. Actually, whenever body is moving in a circular orbit or is having a circular motion, it will also have a tendency to go through the radial way, that is that thread that was attaching the stone. So whenever you are wheeling out the stone, what will happen is that the stone will also have a tendency to follow the thread and go towards the center of the orbit. So the athlete will be quite comfortably taking a turn there, and then you may also see that the athlete is quite happier than the previous instance. So let us just summarize the riddle that we have solved. First, the athlete was having a motion on the circular track, which was quite horizontal. He was running really very hard, and he was trying it really very hard to go over and over and over on that circular track. Now, to help him out, I simply banked up that circular track. Now, since it is leviated a bit, the athlete will have a tendency to go towards the center. This tendency in the formulation of mechanics, or in the definition that is given by the mechanics, is known as the centripetal force. Well, now you must be asking, what is centripetal force? Actually, centripetal force is not exactly a force, but in order to have it for all of them to understand, we just gave it a name, centripetal force, going towards the center. Actually, it is some imaginary force that comes into existence. So, if an athlete wants to have a good turn on a circular track without wasting much energy, he must have a circular track that is a bit leviated. And this will be the topic of discussion of our next example. Now, as simple as it, if I replace the athlete by a car or by a motorcycle which is moving too fast, if I have got a circular track or a turn on a road which is quite horizontal, then you will see that more force is required to go for the turn, because whenever you are turning on a horizontal road, then the friction is coming into existence. So, your tendency to go out of the turn or to go out of the circular track is controlled by the force of friction. But what happens when a car or any vehicle is moving with very fast speed? Then at that time the momentum is really very large, or in some other terms the force is really very large. So, there is no role of friction to have that body or that vehicle to move in that circular track or to take a very quick turn. In those cases, accidents usually happen. So, what we do is that we simply leviate the turns, or we simply leviate the circular tracks. In that way, the car can move quite easily without having the fear to go out of the track, and could possibly there would be no accidents. Well, in this way we have solved so many problems. Okay, so you must be amazed, how can we solve so many problems with a simple example? Actually, see, the centripetal force and the frictional force are very two common forces that we encounter in mechanics. The centripetal force is something like, if a body is moving in a circular track, it will try to attract it towards its center. But we also know that whenever a body is moving in a circular track, it will have the tendency to go out of the track. And to resist it, if the track is horizontal and the speed is quite less, then our body or our vehicle can take an easily turn. But what about when the speed of the vehicle or the body is quite high? Then there is a fear that since the force of friction is quite small, the body may go out of control and accidents may happen. That is, if you are running very hard and you take a sharp turn, you will fall down. For that, we simply go for the banking of roads, in which the force required is really very less, because the centripetal force is in the same direction in which we want to go. So, we can take very good turns at a very minimum, what you call the side effects, or at very minimum risk. So, in this way we have solved all the common forces that comes into existence whenever we go for the mechanics of the systems. So, today, after discussing that problem, we got to know about two common forces in mechanics, that is the friction and also the centripetal force. And by taking the example of the athlete and the car taking a turn, we have also known that to which extent both the forces are helpful to us. If the track is horizontal, the frictional force is quite helpful to us, but at low velocities. And if the velocity is much higher, then we have to bank the roads so that lesser force is required to take a sharp turn, and hence it improves the safety regards. Hoping to having used lot of dreams of mechanics with very cuddling and cute puzzles coming into your mind. Thank you.